Someone's always watching me. Someone's always there. When I'm sleeping, he just waits and he stares. Someone's always standing in the darkest corner of my room. He's tall and wears a suit of black, dressed like the perfect groom. Where are you going? Why won't you stay? They might be scared of you, but I just want to play. He has no face. He hides with the trees. He loves little children when they beg and scream. Please.
So everybody, what did you think of that song?
Ugh. The line, he loves little children when they beg and scream, that's a bad line, man. That's a real bad line.
Yeah, it's a pretty bad line, especially if you think of, like, what if the song is about, like, Jarrett from Subway?
Exactly, that's what I thought.
Easy.
Starting out on a high
Starting
note.
out on a high note. Just
It's all downhill from here.
Let's attack the pedophile right away. Easy low-hanging fruit.
Well, I mean...
He's a low-hanging fruit.
Yeah, easy.
Oh.
Well, no, that song is definitely creepy, for sure.
Very creepy.
Just something about a child's voice with, like, you know, that playful little, like...
Nursery rhymes.
Nursery rhyme keyboard, you know, that toy keyboard that people play?
Yeah.
Like, something about that just is unsettling.
Oh, it's real
Absolutely.
bad. Real bad.
Well, everybody, in 2009, the website Something Awful started a Photoshop thread. The task was simple. Edit an everyday photo to make it appear paranormal, and then create a story to try and pass it off as real. While many of them were what you'd expect, such as ghosts and zombies, two stood out more than the rest. Two simple black and white photos were posted, and nearly 7 years later, they're still weaving their way into our minds and soul of the internet. Tall, thin, silent, Slender Man is a nightmare you never knew existed in the back of your mind. Why such an obviously fake and fabricated story moved so far from such a simple internet thread to a cultural meme that at times has reached its long arms into our reality. Why does Slender Man fascinate us? Has he existed from a time before the internet? Is he real? We hope tonight to give you the truth of the matter and what you should really worry about out there in the world. So, what do you guys think of Slender Man?
That was beautifully written, by the way.
Yeah, that was fantastic.
That was well done.
I think we should just sign off.
Yeah, I think
Podcast
we're
over.
good. Honestly, I don't think we need to talk about this anymore. That was... Oh, my. But, no, I
You have a voice for radio, my friend.
Thank you. I've tried, but failed miserably.
Oh, never give up. But, yeah, Slender Man, I think he's there. I think he preys on your mind, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's become real.
Yeah?
Yeah. What's the... Maybe it's Hercules. I don't know. Some game or some movie talks about how something has no power until you believe in it. I think enough people believe in it that...
A lot of stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
And there's actually a theory about that we'll talk about in a little bit. About could he have gone from just a simple story to an actual somewhat real entity in our world.
Yeah. I mean, but that's kind of like the mythos of Slender Man, too.
That's true.
So,
that is built into itself. So
yeah.
It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy.
I think he's like that shadow you see in the corner of your eye
Mm-hmm.
when you're just a little too paranoid, you know?
I definitely think he sort of fits into the shadow person story and kind of almost, yeah, I guess like it's history and mythos, but more along the lines of it actually steps out of the shadows and hunts you and torments you rather than just being kind of in the corner of your eye when you turn. It's not in the corner of your eye and it's in the center of your room.
Yes.
I don't think of him as a ghost, though. Not a ghost, not a demon. He's otherworldly.
He's
closer to like an
definitely-
alien.
I would agree with that too.
Yeah, he's definitely more alien than anything else.
We'll start off heavy, because I was giving this some thought. But there is a passage from the Bible that I'm going to butcher. Something, jeez, I don't remember it exactly. But God talking to an angel about Adam and Eve, and saying that as long as they are in the Garden of Eden, they will be like one of us, implying that Yahweh, God, is the God of Israel, but there are other gods and other entities. And then that's kind of expounded upon by H.P. Lovecraft, whether he meant to or not.
Yeah.
Where they have like a universe of just gods. There's Azathoth, who's the mad blind king.
Yeah.
And he's just like a squiggle in space. I mean, imperceivable by the human mind. Maybe something is leaked out.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think H.P. Lovecraft touched on something very primal to the human mind.
I think H.P. Lovecraft saw something.
Oh.
You know, like how he started his horror books. Someone
don't-
in his family died when he was young. I think he was like 6. And he was very terrified of the black garb that his family wore for weeks after. And he had this recurring nightmare of these eldritch figures, you know, typical long legs, long arms, very skinny, very Slender Man-esque, picking him up and flinging him across the cosmos where he saw dead worlds.
Oh god, yeah, that's terrifying.
That is the most troubling thing I've heard in a while.
Yeah, as a kid too.
Even more so than
Reality
Mango
for a
Fett.
kid, too. All right, Tommy Lee Bones, calm down there.
Sylvester Cologne.
All right, just for the record, for any of you listeners out there, Jacob is a dad despite not having a kid. Just let's make
He's
that
got
clear.
some good dad jokes.
What Star Wars character has the most fiber? Mango Fett. I almost said Tommy Lee Bones.
The Tommy Lee Bones.
All right, suck down on that old fashioned there.
Yeah, right.
That's what we're drinking today, by the way.
Yes.
If any of our listeners care.
Just a simple old fashioned. We've got Maker's Mark, simple syrup, bitters, and a slice of orange. And it is so warm for this cold topic we've got going on right now.
I am an expert alcohol smith.
I would have to say so.
I would have to agree, yes.
So if we're going to talk about Slender Man, the first thing we need to talk about is memes. What is a meme?
A meme?
A meme? It's pronounced meme.
Pronounced
meme.
Because we're in Canada.
Peace.
According to Webster's dictionary, meme is an idea, behavior, style, or usage that spreads from one person to another in a culture. I call it an idea virus.
Yeah, I've heard that term before.
Yeah. Memes, as we know them today, are silly pictures, unsubstantiated facts, an infographic, or the most cultural or most current political debacle but memes have been around for a long time before that. Jokes, stories, songs, religions, fashion, dance, politics, all have their roots in memes at one point or another. An idea catches on and it passed from one person to another person. Most current memes don't last past a day or a week. Really good ones go on for months, but the rare few, those very special ones, go on for years. Now you're asking, how does this matter to Slender Man? Well, you need to know the history of him and who created him. June 10th, 2009, Eric Knudsen, or Victor Surge, on the Something Awful forums, posted his now infamous 2 photos onto the Photoshop contest thread to create a photo that looks paranormal. While most of the postings were only images, Victor's posts had simple text to go along with it. And have you guys seen the pictures that he's posted up?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and
Okay.
I'm bringing them up right now.
Yeah.
For all
They
the
are-
listeners out there.
Yeah. The first image is of a group of children walking, and if you missed it the first time you looked at the photo, look at it a second time and you'll see it. What could almost appear as a smudge on the photo is a tall, pale, faceless humanoid that looks like it's wearing a dark suit standing behind the children. The text that was posted along with it states, "We didn't want to go. We didn't want to kill them. But its persistent silence and outstretched arms horrified and comforted us at the same time. 1983, photographer unknown, presumed dead."
Presumed dead. Dude.
Yeah.
was a while ago. I mean, come on.
Yeah, it's 83. I mean, there's a lot of people from 83. I was born in 84. There's a good chance I'm going to die soon. Anyway, the second image is a group of children playing on a playground with the group standing in the shadow of a tree. And in the background, what appears to be the silhouette of Slender Man, but this time seems to have tentacles for where he used to have an arm. The text for this reads, one of the 2 recovered photographs from the Sterling City Library blaze, notable for being taken the day which 14 children vanished.
Wait, sorry, blaze like fire?
Yeah, blaze like fire.
Ooh.
And for what is referred to as the Slender Man. Deformities cited as film defects by officials. Fire at library occurred 1 week later. Actual photograph confiscated as evidence. 1986, photographer Mary Thomas. Missing since June 13th, 1986. And while everyone knew that this was something made up by this user, there was no denying that it was struck a chord. Not too long after, other users added some of their own images, and more stories and backstories started to be created, with even a few claims that this creature had been around for centuries longer than its posting. At first glance, these images seemed to lend themselves to the idea that Slenderman had been around for what could be centuries. Upon closer inspection, really, they just turned out to be bad Photoshop jobs. But even then, the character seemed to pull itself from the reaches of ancient times when we humans looked into the shadows and saw shapes and movement that made us fear what we didn't know and what we could not explain. Tales of fairies and elves stealing bad children or misbehaving children and taking them off to be eaten were told to kids before they went to bed not all that long ago. And this actually, if you look at like Germanic stories too, because German fairy tales, their bedtime stories were brutal.
What's their Santa? Crumple?
Belschnickels?
Yeah, Belschnickel's one.
Belschnickel, Crumple Dick.
Krampus
Krampus.
is a figure.
Krampus is cool. He's a cool guy.
But, yeah, fairies were not things to fuck around with. They're not little, tiny little people with wings and glitter falling off of them. They were sometimes tall, scary, frightening things that, if you treated them right, would grant you a wish or maybe give you a piece of gold. If you treated them wrong, you were dinner. They were not, you were theirs. And this being that was created, his backstory, the fact that he hunted children, the fact that he...
Is it exclusively children? Because that movie,
Well,
always watching as adults.
I mean,
and all the video games are like adults.
Children-
He only harms physically children.
Now he kills the fuck out of some adults.
Yeah.
Well, it depends.
Children are
In the
his
movies,
yes.
children are his preferred delicacy.
Don't say that.
Let's not refer to children as
Okay.
delicacy.
Delicacy. Strike one match.
Strike one.
Okay.
2 more and I have to call the FBI.
Jesus.
But he will hunt.
There we go.
He will hunt human beings,
Yeah.
or
Yes.
adults. I mean, children. He actually seems to lure them in more than anything. For some reason, he has this sort of, I guess, almost fairy-like or magical-like attraction to children, where they don't see him as something that frightening. Although,
Highness. But
yeah,
That whole, he comforts us and horrifies us.
yes.
which is a beautiful way of
Which,
putting that.
yeah, it's just one of those things where to small children, he doesn't seem all that threatening. But to adults, he is terrifying. I mean, the idea of this creature with no face. I mean...
No face, tentacles for hands, taller than the average human.
Exactly.
Hanging out at parks with little kids. Yeah, that's terrifying.
He looks like, you know what a homunculus is? Like,
Yeah.
A homunculus,
Yeah, he looks like that. The extended limbs.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh.
And one of the pictures that they photoshopped to try and make it seem like he'd been around for centuries was a woodcut from this guy they made up, Hans Freckenberg, which, if that doesn't strike you as a fake name...
I wish I had that name.
Yeah.
Freckenberg.
It was actually an altered woodcutting of Hans Holbein, and he did a series called The Dance of the Dead. And basically, it was just each woodcut was somebody being led off by death or interacting with death in some way, kind of saying that no matter who you are, from a child to an adult, you are not escaping death. It will come for you.
It's very true.
And The first photo, or first woodcutting that they altered was one of a knight being stabbed by what looked like an arm, like an extended arm of this blank-faced, gaunt creature.
Perfect.
With
Is this the real
multiple
photo, or
limbs.
is this...
This is the altered
Just the
one.
altered
This is the altered one? Okay.
But then the real wood carving is of a knight being stabbed by the lance of a skeletal knight.
Like a skeleton.
Just a
knight,
skeleton.
which is just
Still
as
scary, yes.
Army of Darkness-esque, but, you know,
Yes,
it's no Slender Man.
actually, very much like that.
Very well said.
The other one that they did was of a child being...
Wait, hold on. I like the idea of scientists looking over this photo of a dude being stabbed by like a skeleton the Slender Man, and they're like, "Oh, this is awful." And it's like, "Oh no, this is the original. It's a dude being stabbed by a skeleton." And they're like, "Oh, this is way better."
Oh, thank you. This makes me so happy.
This makes a little more sense. Come on.
I was worried there for a second.
When we're coming down to it.
Well, the second one is even, I would say, even scarier. It's of a child being dragged out of a home by a skeletal creature with all these like limbs, like grabbing it and like pulling it out.
Perfect.
Yeah, and it's tall and looking over the top rafter of the door, but the actual one is of just a kind of regular skeleton leading out hand in hand, almost like a Pied Piper.
Sure.
The child,
I get it,
and
yeah.
like they were totally, friends with each other, I guess.
I agree with you on the second one for sure. I
Yeah.
agree with you on the second one for sure.
There was another like painting that they altered that they said when they X-rayed it, the creature of death in the original had multiple arms underneath in the X-ray, like the original, but it was just like copy jobs, like copy and paste jobs of all the same arms going up. So you're like, okay, this is
Really just poor craftsmanship.
Clearly fake.
yeah. And then
Have some pride in your work. Come on.
seriously. Well, then they took some cave paintings, and there were some that were like of these tall figures next to like shorter figures.
Yeah, but that's because they just didn't really get how
exactly
to draw, right?
exactly.
And
But they
understand
were
perspective.
passing these
Yeah.
off, saying that this was supposed to be Slender Man all the way back in the cave.
I think the world's dumbest person could figure that one out, though.
Yeah.
So true.
Well,
So strong.
Political.
Getting political.
The thing that kind of confuses me with that is how it kind of gets anachronistic. You're not going to have a cave painting of a man in a three-piece suit.
no,
Exactly.
but it was like a black stick figure that they had.
Okay.
Yeah,
Because they ran out of red paint. That's all. That's
Yeah.
all that was.
that's where it was. And
It's really
figures
just-
like
Let's talk about
there was talk of important people in history being met by figures that were super tall in long black robes and imparting important information or carting them off into the nethers. So
True. But
Probably
I don't
aliens.
think Slender Man ever speaks, though.
Nope.
no, he does not
So.
speak. No, we spoke a little bit about what Slenderman looks
Yeah,
like.
yeah.
He's very tall.
Very tall.
Most estimates say he's anywhere from 7 to 15 feet tall.
Oh, boy.
Most of that extra height from 7 feet is because he can extend his arms and legs to any length he wants. So he can be much taller than he really is.
Plus, he wears high heels, so...
He's got 7-inch pumps usually, give you some height.
He's got to add something.
He's got a bleached white head with no distinguishing features, no eyes or nose, ears, just the impression that they used to be there at some point.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I think is important is being able to look someone in the face. And
It's extremely important.
we as human beings, that's one of our main ways to tell what a person's thinking.
Yeah. And it's also one of the most unsettling things about, like, horror creatures.
Yeah.
Like, a demonic figure that's, like, completely disfigured but has a human face is extraordinarily upsetting. But, like, to have a human body and no face,
Yeah.
it's just as unsettling. It's
Well,
yeah.
that's kind of how we landed on
literally
zombies.
terrifying.
Because it's just human enough, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's
Decayed and
stripping
gross.
away everything that made you human.
Yep.
while still appearing to be human.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, this guy still appears human, wearing a dark suit with a black tie and black shoes. And from his back, shoulder blades is where he gets his tentacles come from.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I have a question. Do you think he always wore a suit?
That's kind of what I was getting at. Have you seen Gravity Falls?
Yes.
It's
You know
about
who
the Tooth
Bill is?
Fairy, right?
Or no, I've never seen. I've heard of Gravity Falls.
No, that's Darkness Falls. My bad. I'm on a different wavelength right now.
Darkness
Darkness
Falls
about
is
the
a
tooth
good
fairy.
movie.
My
That's a
bad.
good movie.
My
This just
bad.
became the movie podcast.
Right? We just totally went off base.
Okay, there's a character in Gravity Falls. His name is Bill something. He's a demon
Okay.
or an otherworldly entity. And he appears as the all-seeing eye, so like the pyramid triangle with one eye in the center, wearing a bow tie and top hat. But he is immortal, like he's been around since the beginning of time. So I believe the way they explain that away is that it's kind of how the mind perceives him. Like maybe if a caveman saw Slender Man, they would have
They would
seen
have
just
seen
like
something completely different.
just a silhouette, maybe a
Maybe-
black
Absolutely.
Maybe like, some nice good old panther drapes or something. I don't know.
Well, I mean, honestly, if you look at it too, especially if we're going to postulate that this creature actually existed.
Well, if it was supernatural, it probably has a capability of altering its appearance.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And especially to match our modern age, a dark suit wouldn't be out of the question.
But still
And-
sinister.
But
Yeah.
still sinister, yeah.
And then back maybe 100 years, dark pantaloon set. I don't know. I don't know what people wore 100 years ago. Was
I
it
don't
just
know
pants, or
either,
did they
right?
wear?
Can
was
you
it
imagine?
robes?
I think
Just
they
robes.
wore like...
He's just wearing a toga.
Yeah,
Can
I
you
don't know,
imagine
right?
Slender Man as like a southern dandy?
Southern dandy.
With pants that end above the knee and frilly socks and 4 different bibs coming out of his double-breasted coat.
I think that would
Yes.
be just as unsettling, to be honest.
Oh my god, I want to draw
Oh,
this.
I'm turning around on this street. I'm going back home.
A southern dandy, though. Of all the things you could have said, I'm glad you chose that one.
I'm so glad I chose that too.
But yeah,
A
no,
dandy
like,
fop.
I mean,
Yeah.
like, in colonial times, do you
Foppish.
think he was wearing, like, a powdered wig?
It could be.
Powdered wig and no face.
I'll be honest with you. Do you think he, like, wore a powdered wig, no face, and just kind of...
He's straightening it out in the
Gave, like, the
mirror.
cover.
Yeah.
Honey, how does this wig look on me?
Because, bald, you can get away with bald now, but, they had wigs back then.
Oh yeah.
Back in
You
the day,
couldn't
it
do
would've
that.
Yeah.
They would have laughed him out of the town.
To be honest, I have no historical context for anything I'm saying, so...
That's
I don't
fine.
think any of
Neither
us
do I. So another one of his most distinguishing attributes is the fact that no one ever sees him move. Maybe a slight tilt of the head, but that's really about it. He doesn't walk, doesn't run, he doesn't skip.
Is this a coaster?
Yeah, it's a coaster.
Okay, just double checking.
Wait, hold on. I gotta interrupt one more time.
Okay.
So you're running away from... You see him. You see Slender Man. He's standing there. You run away, and you quickly turn around when you don't think he's looking. He's just on a Segway coming towards you.
He's not moving, technically.
One arm, the other one's
Yeah, right?
texting. And
Yeah. Oh shit! You saw me.
Clearly disinterested, but
I don't know
doing
why-
his job.
I don't know why my Slender Man sounds like Batman. Where are the drugs? I'm sorry, go on. So he's never moving.
And he can be seen moving from one spot to another in the blink of an eye. And that's called the Slender Walk.
Well, it's the old horror movie trope taken to its extreme.
Yeah.
I mean, as
Where it's
fast
like
as
look
you
back,
run,
and then you see him, but then you look back.
Michael
again.
Myers is always walking, and yet he always gets the drop on you. It's that taken to its logical extreme.
Yeah, you could be running and look and see that he's in one spot. Keep running and then look back, and he's suddenly closer, and you haven't even seen
right
him
in
move.
front of you.
Yeah.
So
you
should
look
you
back.
always be running backwards in that situation?
You just
If
gotta
you
be
were
spinning in a
literally
circle.
trying to run away from the Slender Man, would you?
You
No,
can just
because
run with
he'll
the
be
mirror, so you
a
can
mirror
see
in front
behind
of the
you.
back of you.
That's fair. That's fair.
It's true. You can just disappear. It's tough. We're going to explain a little bit more how science could actually explain how this is possible.
Science is not going to
I
explain
don't
how
believe
this
in
is possible.
science. Are you
It
kidding
is
me?
totally
I
science.
don't
There
believe
is-
in science. We should abolish science.
We once argued
Thanks,
that
Trump.
Bigfoot is an alien. I don't think we're going to get to the scientific conclusion
First of all,
here.
I wasn't a part of that, but
So it didn't
I think you
happen.
were on to something.
That was a good podcast. I think that was our high. We've been...
You've just
Just
been slowly
ever
on the
since.
decline since. Wasn't that the first episode, by the way?
Yes, our first was the best, and we are on a steady decline ever since.
It's all right. This is the game changer
Oh, yeah.
episode.
Typical of being in the presence of Slenderman for long periods of time, humans will start to feel sick or nauseous and will experience missing time, along with nosebleeds, coughing fits, memory loss.
That seems to be a lot of symptoms of supernatural
almost
Absolutely.
Supernatural.
infrasound.
Yeah.
If you play the games, which may or may not be canon,
Mm-hmm.
the
I think
closer
they're-
you are to, I'm sure they are. I mean,
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
really
I mean,
no
come on.
canon to Slender Man. The closer you are to the Slender Man, the camera starts to wave
Mm-hmm.
like a TV getting bad signal, and like a snow will kind of show up.
Well,
like,
the
on
reason
TV.
for that in the games is they explain it because the only way you can see him is through electronics.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
you're holding
it's
a
through a
camera.
lens.
Okay,
Yeah.
so he's got electromagnetic interference.
Exactly.
Okay.
But yeah, I do remember if you find like little excerpts from this lady's novel, or this lady's diary, she talks about how she's had insomnia and she sees figures off in the distance and
Yeah.
she can't like eat because like she's sick because
Yeah.
he makes you sick.
Insomnia and distortion to recording equipment are all part of being in the presence of Slenderman.
Okay, so we are safe right now because we have none of those issues.
I mean,
Chip, he's right behind you.
Mother dick.
He's our fourth guest.
He's
silent.
Shut up, Slender Man.
I don't think he'd have much to contribute to a podcast, but
Well, be a quiet podcast.
Slendy, get out of here. You're ruining our signal.
Get off of me.
We keep timing out.
Some people suggest that this is because Slenderman gives off low levels of radiation, and continued exposure to that will start to give you radiation sickness, which a lot of these symptoms are symptomatic of radiation sickness. In particular, electromagnetic radiation will actually cause a lot of the physical effects in humans and electronics as well.
I heard a theory that I'm going to cite no sources because I forgot
Okay.
where I found it.
hey, you heard.
But he's an alien. I'm going to be the first to say it.
All
He's
right.
an alien, and he came to Earth after Chernobyl
All right.
because like he's a radioactive entity, and he was attracted by this anomaly.
So he's basically Godzilla.
yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you've seen the new Godzilla. It's just a thin dude in a suit.
It's literally terrible, but yeah.
I like the new Godzilla a little bit.
It's all right.
Come on, the shaky camera views, that was bad.
They could do with less shaky camera.
If
and
you're going to see a Godzilla movie, you don't want to see Godzilla through a broken school bus window.
I cannot wait to see Godzilla vs. King Kong, though.
That would be good.
That's a movie.
You got me on that
I
one.
just
Oh, yeah.
remember when he attacks Vegas, they're all crowded in a hotel or a casino watching TV, and they're like, "Oh, Godzilla's attacking this casino," and they're like, "Oh shit, that's ours." And he just picks up the roof.
Yeah. Hello!
Classic millennials.
Get a job, Godzilla.
Shut up, Jacob. I'm working on it.
Oh, I was talking to Godzilla,
Oh,
not
okay.
you.
And
thanks,
especially
Dick.
one of the a lot of the electromagnetic experiences that you could have with this is because he gives off bursts of electromagnetic radio frequency to especially mess up any evidence of himself.
Because he ruins cameras.
Yeah.
And that's half the reason why he never shows up on film, right?
Yeah, and why if the camera blinks out, he will and then comes back on, he will suddenly be closer to you because he's using that
Energy
pause.
source, kind of. To,
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's his slender walking is that burst of EMP. That's what they call it, the slender walk.
I always assumed it would be like him just putting like one leg really far forward and then kind of like doing the splits and then walking up and swooping.
It's
with a slender walk
have you
or
seen when I'm bored at work and I'm doing my walk?
Oh, yeah.
That's how he walks.
Alright.
That's
For
why he
those
never wants to be
listening-
seen.
For those listening, I am also unaware of that walk, but
right, you'll
well-
see it on the way home.
Chip, it's this. While you guys talk, I'm just gonna. He's gonna
sidebar,
confidently
everybody.
put one leg out, dip back. I just broke my back.
That is
Walk like
surprisingly-
Yeah, you're gonna hurt
That
yourself.
is surprisingly exactly what I imagined, to be honest.
Yep.
Just having one leg extend way further out, though.
He walks like a 1920s Disney cartoon.
Yes, exactly.
Steamboat Willie.
Yep.
And there's also a lot of claims that, especially that one photograph that I was talking about, how there was a blaze at the fire
Yeah,
at
the
the
fire.
library. A lot of his, I guess,
Bubba.
bigger interaction or when he is causing a little bit more mischief than normal, he will actually cause fires because some electromagnetic radiation can actually cause fires in high enough concentration.
So he heats up, basically, or
He'll heat up the area, but also to kind of remove evidence of himself.
that's from the movie, right? He burned down the house, or the house burned down.
He caused somebody to burn down the house, but this kind of moves into the next it kind of moves into the next topic of how he will actually cause what are known as proxies.
Proxies?
Mm-hmm.
Like copies of themselves proxies?
Well, he can influence a human being to interact with the world around him. This is all in the stories and like the Marble Hornets series on YouTube, and what is it? Everyman Hybrid, and another one is Tribe 12.
No, I don't know those last two.
Those are what is it? Marble Hornets, Everyman Hybrid, and Tribe 12 are considered the big three. The three that helped launch Slender Man past being just simple creepypasta into the
Cultural phenomenon.
yes, into the movies and YouTube videos that exist today.
Everyman Hybrid and
Tribe 12.
Tribe 12. Okay, I'll have to check those out.
Yeah, I personally don't like them. I feel like they're too scripty than Marble Hornets, which is less script and more just... I mean, there could be multiple episodes in between actually something happening, but it's those episodes where something happens where you're just... It is terrifying.
Yep. That happened in the game. I remember back in college, I was playing on my laptop with my friend Logan.
Yeah.
And I do remember now, you're looking through the recorder to see him, and it starts to wave, and the screen gets fuzzy, and we see him, and I swore at the top of my lungs and closed my laptop so hard that I cracked the screen.
That'll do it.
So I'm expecting Slender Man himself to buy me a new laptop.
There you go. So proxies are basically human beings that Slender Man has been around, actually just been in close contact with for long periods of time without or a lot of the physical effects that normally come with him, like, you being sick and stuff like that. A lot of them are much lessened, if they're at all. But
So they are sick or they aren't?
Are
they may be sick sometimes, depending on which story you're listening to. But what it comes down to is he uses these people to interact with the world, either to influence other prey to moving closer to him or out of hiding. And a lot of these people, towards the end, are just burned out. He never even takes them because they're no use to him anymore. They're just wasted shells.
So maybe he's not totally of this world? Of this plane of existence, rather.
Probably not. That's why the Slender walking, you don't see him moving because he just can't interact with our reality the way we can.
He can kind of just imprint himself. Kind of like
It's like video game clipping. Just,
Yeah,
he disappears.
absolutely. Or like when you're buffering in a video game and you see character, when you're lagging and you see characters kind of skip across the screen, kind of like that.
he just cannot be seen and move at the same time.
Oh yeah.
So.
Oh, like the Weeping Angels. From
Doctor Who. Where if you're looking at them, they can't move, but when you turn away, they're there in an instant. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's terrifying.
Oh yeah.
It's very terrifying.
So do you think he can't move because he's being watched? Or... Because there's scientific...
Well, who's to say he's not moving while he's being watched?
I mean, he's got a point.
He does. It could be like, if you pause in a video game, you can, plot your next trajectory. I wonder if that's how it is. Sorry, I'm currently choking to death on my own saliva.
But I mean, if he's really from, a different plane of existence, maybe he leaves an image of where he is, and then he can either stay and then hold that image, and there might be an after effect. I mean, who knows?
Well, we'll be talking about this in a second.
But, I mean, if you're watching him, he's not going to disappear and show up in a new location, will he?
He could. He could just absolutely leave the location.
So you could be full-on staring right at him, and he's gone, and he's somewhere else?
Absolutely.
I thought he was like a statue. Like, if you're viewing him, he doesn't move.
I mean, honestly, it depends on which story you're reading.
Yeah.
A lot of them kind of keep to the idea where if you look away, he will move.
Yeah.
But that's to add to the terror of the creature.
Yeah.
More than, he can actively move around all on his own.
I like the idea that when he's being watched, he can't move, because there's actual, I don't know whatever happened with the study, but scientists were looking at atoms under a microscope, and they weren't vibrating when being watched. They would only half life when someone looked away, and I mean, what if that kind of plays into the Slender Man?
We will talk about that in a second.
Yes.
You can either know. I'm not going to talk about it because I'm not a physicist, but
That's okay.
Neither are we.
I'm going to talk about some quantum physics.
Hi, I'm Jake. I'm not a physicist.
so I introduce myself to everybody too. Say hi, I'm Dan. I'm not a doctor. But no, I mean you can either measure something where it's at specifically or where it's going, but not both.
That's true. It's absolutely true.
And that's specifically talking in quantum mechanics.
Wait, sorry, what? Can you repeat that?
You can either measure where something is, where an atom is specifically, or where it's going. But you can't measure both at the same time. And I butchered that entirely. I'm pretty sure there's much more to it, and I don't think it's.
I think that's a very simplified version.
It's a very simple. I shouldn't be simplifying quantum mechanics.
Well, I'll have a very simplified version of quantum mechanics in a little bit.
Perfect.
So,
but yeah,
our physicist listeners are just no. That's not what we
they're
meant.
slamming.
maybe one of them.
All zero of them.
Hey, you never know, man.
No, it's just
true.
you.
You never know.
I mean, how many you got? What's the?
I think we struggled to break 20 views.
I mean, maybe
we have 5
one of them
followers.
is like a hardcore physicist.
No, one of them is my girlfriend, the other is me, and I don't use that Twitter.
That's
so
2 of 18. So I mean, we're 20%.
Oh no! I'm talking followers on Twitter.
Oh,
we have 5 of those. I
We
think
have 5 Twitter followers?
Yeah,
that's impressive.
No, it isn't.
I'm trying to be helpful here, man. I
you
don't
know
have a
what?
Twitter, so I don't even know.
You know what? I appreciate it. Thank you. But no, me and Matt account for 15 to 20 of our 20 views. So
Okay.
yeah, I think Oscar at work. Hi, Oscar.
Hi, Oscar.
What's up, Oscar? I don't know you, but you sound cool.
He's cool.
Yeah, he's the man. I think he puts the podcast on. I'm like, hey, Oscar, we got a new podcast. And he's like, yeah, I'll listen to it. Then he rolls his eyes and clicks on
And then
the
clicks
job.
it. All right.
I've got a job to do.
We just gotta find that right. The Taylor Swift when you put on the Taylor Swift forum or Twitter page.
Yeah, that got us no views.
That got you like 5.
That got us 0 views. No, I can account for every single one of those views.
So let's talk about the Slender Walk.
Okay.
Appearing to stand in one location at one moment and then suddenly standing much closer, he is never seen walking and rarely uses his arms or hands. This slender walk is how he scares most of the people he interacts with. This sudden jump scare or total disappearance from the room is usually enough to send most people into panic mode. But it's his sheer ability to appear anywhere and sort of hide in the background until he wants to be noticed is the most deeply unsettling aspect of this creature. And since his preferred prey is children or young adults, you can kind of see how this can drive someone a little crazy over time, especially over years if he hunts them that long. Tormenting and visual over time. While there is very little known about what happens once he claims his prize and transports the individual off to it is not always quick. It might be years of showing up in the most safest of places or invading one's home and just scaring them. No one else in their lives really believing them, and they start to kind of go insane. And then they might just suddenly vanish off the face of the earth. So, I hear you all asking, well, 2 of you asking, what sort of explanations or science might account for Slender Man being real or existing in our reality?
It's got to be like temporal distortion. The idea that he can manipulate time and space.
Okay.
In order to, like, Weeping Angel style, to, flash forward. Or
Sure.
He played Dishonored. He has the blink ability.
Yeah.
Where he can just teleport forward. It's like that, except he's never mobile. So it's like, I am here. As soon as they look away, I'm locked until they're done looking at me, and then I'm unlocked, and I will move wherever I want.
Well, let's start with the most unreasonable of explanations.
Also, you said that no one else around them believes that Slender Man
Usually
exists.
will, yeah.
But they get all the same symptoms, right? The sickness, the
unless he's
insomnia,
not targeting
nightmares.
them. If he's not targeting them, you're not going to experience any of those symptoms.
So that means that maybe he's not radioactive, that he can turn himself on and off, so to speak.
Could be. It also could be the nature of his existence, that he can actually... Ooh, look at that elbow.
That was bad.
I see my funny bone so bad. Also, I just remembered, I mean, if he's low level, then a radiation poisoning can taste forever. So he can focus, you know.
He really
what
could.
wants to do. Okay, well, I just disproved myself. So.
I just think he's a dick, to be honest. When it comes down to it, he just...
Speaking of which...
He's the original troll.
He's
our
literally just a
first
dick.
explanation is the tulpa effect. Have you guys heard of what a tulpa is?
Honestly, I have
Isn't
no
Toba?
idea.
Tulpa. Tulpa.
No.
It's a Tibetan sort of, I guess, meditation where you can focus your mind and energy into the creation of a...
I'm not laughing at that. That's just 100% whiskey. I don't taste anything but whiskey. Holy shit. Sorry.
You were just a bit surprised?
Oh, I was very surprised.
Okay.
I remember my first beer. No, I don't remember my first beer.
Time out. This isn't a beer, friends. This is just Maker's Mark whiskey. And
So
yes,
by-
I should, oh god.
By meditating, you can focus your energy into the creation of a creature from just your thought into reality.
Oh man, there's a fantastic book series that dives into that like hardcore.
Sure.
I can't think of it. Oh man, my friends always talk about it as like the shaman series. I never got into reading it, but that is the basic idea that beings don't have power unless the idea of power is present.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I mentioned that.
Community.
Exactly.
Or not just the online, but like within like any community. So like you can create anything as long as a group of people decides to believe it.
I know what you're talking about. I've heard of that. And
There's
I'm
a
using it.
fantastic book series about that.
Yeah, no, I know what
So
you're talking
good.
about.
Well, imagine millions, if not maybe hundreds of millions of people on the internet. When this first came around and it was starting to filter into all these different websites, outside of Something Awful and 4chan, where 4chan was really kind of its springboard. Once it got onto 4chan, it blew up across the internet.
It's basically fortunate for you, the asshole of the internet that just keeps exploding shit out of its...
Exactly.
You guys see the movie In the Mouth of Madness? 90s horror movie?
I heard of it. I haven't seen it.
Can't remember.
It's a
I've
good
heard of
movie.
it.
I enjoy it. But it deals with an author who goes insane and starts writing about like H.P. Lovecraftian nightmares. But he doesn't have any power unless people are reading his books, and so that's how I'm kind of taking this tulpa effect.
Well, yeah. Imagine these millions of people who, if you believe in the whole collective consciousness of human beings, they're all thinking about this, and it's kind of like cycling through. And if enough people put their energy in like thinking, what if this thing could be real? Because enough photographs were presented to make it seem like it existed.
Exactly.
I mean, it could spring up in reality if you believe in that.
You have to specifically believe, but that's also has to go with Slender Man too.
Yeah,
That he typically goes for people that are more obsessed and afraid of him.
absolutely.
So
For what it's worth, Black and White, that is the name of the video game where you play as a god and you're only as strong as people believe in you.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. So I just want to get that out of the way because that was
get that out of
bothering
your
me.
system, but yeah.
Oh yeah. And since like these millions of people have like fed into the story and like built on the story, he's only
Fetishized it, really.
yeah, and it's become like its ability to maybe interact with our reality has become a little bit stronger. So while it may not be a real creature that I can reach out and touch, it is still affecting people. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
honestly, it's like thinking about it sometimes walking through the house in the dark when I've turned off all the lights. I can really imagine that you could be standing in the corner of the room.
I do my best not to, but yes.
The problem is I think about it every time I'm walking through a dark room. It's
just there.
It is there.
There,
If the
yeah.
dogs aren't with me, I am terrified of that room.
When, usually in the middle of the night, if I get up to get a water bottle or something, I'll go and I sleep with my windows open so I hear everything.
Yeah.
I will enter my room and for just like the briefest second, I'll be like, oh, there's someone in here with me.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I get over it because of course there isn't. But
Yeah.
also, It's the Slender Man.
Yeah.
And he's gonna put me in a headlock and then punch me a few times.
He's always there, just waiting to give you that good night hug.
Oh yeah. He cares though.
He does.
But
He's a good guy.
But he's a dick. But he cares.
Chip.
He votes fiscal Democrat, so he's a good guy.
Okay. Throwing political views in here again.
Fiscal Democrat, that can mean anything. I don't even know what that means. That's not political. That's just stupid.
It means
It's
non-existent.
a buzzword.
Yeah.
It really is. 2 buzzwords together.
We just got 5 views from that.
I think so.
Hashtag fiscal Democrat.
Throw it on there.
I'll throw it
Hillary
on there.
Clinton's like,
If you
the
can-
fuck does that mean?
Put that in the pre-intro intro. If you can make it to 52
What the
minutes,
hell is
you'll
this?
hear
I was
the
looking for
buzzwords.
Slender Man. Why did I get this thing?
Yeah.
Chip, back onto your theory you had a little bit earlier. A lot of people think that he could be a fourth dimensional being. And they don't really mean like, how we live in 3D, he lives in 4D.
Yeah,
Basically,
well, technically we live in a 4D universe because we experience life in 3D. But
Yeah.
I mean,
Wait, hold on. For the slow people in this podcast, me, what is the fourth dimension?
God, I don't know.
time is considered the fourth dimension.
Yes.
But really what this whole theory comes down to is it's just a dimension outside of our own that he exists in,
Yeah.
but is able to interact with ours.
Yes.
That's
So
why
John dies at the end in that movie. He basically goes into another dimension.
Just portals? Okay, so,
Not like
It's-
it's kind of like a portal, but it's like it's another level of existence, really.
is it more like, The Watchmen, the movie, with Dr. Manhattan who sees everything at once? Or is it more like,
Well, that's like the time is
it's-
an ocean kind of idea.
Imagine-
it's more like you can open doors and here's 1852, here's
it's
2016?
more along the lines of imagine a roll of tape and how there's all those layers and layers on top of each other.
Sure.
He's just one layer next to ours. And just the nature of his being, he can actually interact with ours, only limited. That's why when he interacts with people, especially for long periods of time, he gives them that sickness, that slender sickness, or whatever they call it.
Sure.
That's why when he moves, we actually don't see him move because
Exactly,
it's in a way. It's how we can see in 3D the XYZ. He can also see N, and N is something that we cannot perceive. That is why when he moves along N, we cannot figure out what that is
Distinguish
until he's still again.
So it's Lovecraftian, kind of
Almost, yes.
imperceivable to the human mind.
Exactly.
That reminds me of Half-Life 2, and also Half-Life 1, if you ever played them.
I remember Half-Life 2, I'm just trying to figure out.
The reason we were invaded by the Universal Union is because of what happened on Zen.
Yeah.
This is getting out of my domain right now. I'm just not in.
We opened a portal to another realm, aliens came through.
I remember
we
that in
beat them
Half-Life.
back. Yeah. In Half-Life 2, this evil universal government finds out that we can create portals between worlds and decides to invade because they are stuck in their own dimension. But they can access ours through this portal. So it's kind of like,
Oh, yeah.
it's almost like opening a door to someone else's house.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Houses being dimensions.
Yeah.
Or maybe I'm butchering the
That makes
metaphor.
sense.
I mean,
No,
yeah,
yeah.
but, I mean, what? Like, I don't even know if we could exist in another dimension. If like we
We might
if
not
we
be able to.
elevated
We can
up
barely exist on this dimension.
Yeah.
easy.
I mean, honestly, the whatever laws of physics govern that dimension might be so foreign to us that we can't. Maybe it's
I
a
don't-
dimension
like,
of antimatter.
Because I mean,
They-
like, I don't think it's even I think it's imperceivable to really understand dimensions beyond the one we live in.
Exactly.
I really don't
No,
think we can
Chip
even
is very right.
understand that. I think
Exactly.
There's
we
this-
can like pretend to. We can be like, oh, this is what it's gonna be. But like seriously, like
There's a
who the
school of
fuck
thought
knows?
that says that the universe, as we know it, with all of its, I'm doing the
Quotes.
quotation marks, laws of physics are finite and subject to change at any moment. That our universe is held by a string. Every universe.
that's
And-
totally perceivable. But
When our universe collapses and is replaced by a new one, the laws of physics will be totally different in ways
Absolutely.
we can't. No, in ways we can't even perceive.
to be honest, I
It'll
mean,
be like
I'm gonna get real fucking weird right now. But like, I mean, everything that's happening right now, we like all live linearly. Wow, I'm drunk, guys.
Linearly.
Linear.
Like we all perceive it linearly, but like we used to say it hasn't already happened. Like
Yeah.
we talk about the future, the past, the present, like they're all different things. But like
The Aladdin effect.
I don't
there
know. I'm not
is-
familiar with that, but yeah.
There is a pop culture theory that Agrabah, the city from Aladdin, exists in a time outside of our own because it is technically in the past, but the genie is making references to things that happen in the future, and the
That's
idea is
true.
that they are stuck in a bubble.
That's fair, but I mean, like, I'm just saying, like, the idea isn't that insane, but it is. It's just basically saying that we all perceive time linearly, and that no matter what we do, we always have to move forward.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not to say that
Quiet puppy.
maybe this is the past, like right now. Obviously, it's the past when I'm listening to this because it's recorded.
Yeah.
Well,
But I
I mean,
mean-
you're experiencing things in the past. It's
Yes,
just the way the human eye works.
but I mean, like, to say that this experience isn't going to be heard in the present at some other point, I don't know. It's very, I'm not very good at getting this point across, but it's like, I don't think we live linearly. I think that everything's happening at once and it's already happened, and we're just kind of experiencing it again and again and again and again.
Like, it's
Could
all
be.
happening at once and always.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
That's,
That's exactly
that's
it.
Dr.
It's all
Manhattan.
happening at once and always. And
So,
we
yeah, kinda
can't
like Watchmen.
perceive it because we have to move forward in order to do.
Well, because our minds just can't perceive it that
Well,
way.
I think our minds are perceiving it that way, but like,
I don't think so.
Well, and who's to say what a dog experiences time as?
no one knows.
Exactly.
7 years
it's-
to one human life.
Yeah,
That's
close
what
to
it's
7
done.
times faster than ours.
It's
Apparently.
really tough for us to really quantify what. I can't even tell what you, Jake, experienced time as.
Oh, I blacked out 30 minutes ago. I'm not experiencing time.
We did.
I mean, honestly,
When we got here.
When we got here.
When I took down
but
my pants
but I
and
mean,
walked
like,
over
yeah,
to
like
Matt's
what,
house.
what's a lifetime to a fly? Is it the same lifetime experiences to a human?
well,
like,
also look at it this way too.
Now we're getting abstract.
yeah,
If
we
you
are.
want to get even more abstract, time, depending on your relative, I guess, closeness to gravity,
Yep,
will
that'll
be
change
affected.
That is a thing, yes. That's
So
definitely a
at sea
thing.
level, people experience time one way, but then when the further you go up from sea level all the way into orbit, it may be by fractions of a second.
Literally, that,
It
yeah.
is faster, just a fraction
Yeah.
of a second.
Yeah.
But that is the thing is it is just a matter of where you exist, and maybe being the fourth dimensional creature that he is,
Maybe, yeah.
he is able to perceive something that we can't see within that extra dimension,
Exactly.
and he moves through that, and that's where he exists.
Yeah, and that's what I mean by like he can just imprint himself in our world, but he might be moving outside of it, and then still like show up, and that's what the Slender Walk is. It's like he's imprinting himself in our own perceivable like dimension, and he's walking outside of that and coming up behind us and being like, "Haha, I got you, motherfucker!" Like,
The universe is a fucked up, deadly, unexplainable place.
Yep.
except
when
if
you're-
you live on Earth, because we are pretty okay right now as humans.
No, we're bombing each other. We're not great. But as you are leaving Earth's atmosphere, NASA has found out that the ship will slow down by like 50 miles, and there are no causes for this. The same goes for the sun. The surface of the sun is many, 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 many times hotter than its core,
Yeah.
which is the opposite of how it should be.
Yeah. Oh, this is what we're going to
how
touch
it
on in this.
Should be. Come on, like
Well,
how our models portray it to be. But like,
this is what we're going to talk
Well,
about in this
exactly.
next
We
point.
don't understand what's going on. How our models? I mean, the core of anything is always hotter than the surface because the core is where the core is, and it's molten lava or molten iron. I think the Earth's core is like molten iron. or
Molten
something?
iron, yeah.
Yeah.
That's why it's magnetic the way
The
it is.
sur-
I always thought it
surface-
was a solid iron.
The core of the sun is like
It's liquid.
I know the mantle is. But I always heard the core
Is molten.
Actually solid.
No, I don't know.
Maybe I don't know. I don't
Maybe.
know.
As we've said before, I'm not a physicist.
I'm not a doctor,
Well-
guys. Don't listen to me.
For this
The
next
core
point,
of this. You go first.
well, I was going to say I was going to go to the next point of what could explain Slenderman, but you're
Oh,
going to say
then
the
I'll go
core.
first.
Yeah.
The core of the sun is something like, oh god, I'm going to butcher this. I know I'm getting this wrong. Something like 5,000 degrees.
Okay.
And the surface of the sun, if you go like 5 or 10 miles outside of it, is like magnitudes hotter. And there's absolutely no reason for that to exist.
The temperature of the sun is 9,939 degrees Fahrenheit.
Butcher
That's the
that by a good
surface.
4,000.
Yeah, well, I'm not a... Oh god, this is stuck on my lap. This is stuck on my lap.
That happened.
Hoka,
That happened.
you could just...
That
Hi,
happened.
Bubba. Hi.
All right, so the temperature of the surface of the sun is about 10,000 degrees Fahrenheit.
So I was only off by half of the temperature.
The temperature
No, that's my
rises
mistake.
from the surface of the sun inward towards the very hot center of the sun, which reaches about 27 million degrees Fahrenheit.
Wait, sorry, are we saying the surface or the core?
No, the core.
The core is 27 million degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was off by literally all the degrees.
That is all right. We're not a science podcast.
What the
We
fuck
told
article was I
you.
reading? Okay, no, don't jump down, don't jump down, I'll put you down. God, dogs. Okay.
All right, Peanut, go to your cage.
Hey, that cage is in the bathroom and it's closed,
Mhm.
so...
Go to your cage.
How am I supposed to use the bathroom now?
Carefully.
Yeah. So the next idea for what Slenderman can be is what is called a quantum waveform being.
Sounds very complex.
I'm just
This
gonna
is
take a
some
nap while you're talking about this.
ass science.
Quantum waveform being.
How do you-
Waveform meaning like the radioactive signal? Or
They just call it quantum waveform. I don't know much more beyond that.
I honestly
other
do
than,
not
other than everything
have the
exists
degree
as a
to
wave.
even talk about this right
Yeah.
now.
I'm gonna need a little more whiskey for this.
Since I know very little quantum physics or the math
Top you
needed
off.
to truly explain what quantum superposition is, what it really boils down to is an electron will choose to be in every position possible until observed.
Yes.
Think of
Yes.
Schrodinger's cat. Since you cannot observe the cat in the box, it can be dead and alive at the same time. The Slenderman can teleport and cause all the mischief he wants.
Except Schrodinger's cat is a satire.
Well,
He's saying a cat can't be alive and dead at the same time, and I'm waving my arms around like
Well,
a crazy person.
what it's saying is that the cat, think of it as an electron, when unobserved.
Well, it's the fallacy of unobservability. That's what Schrodinger's cat is. Which may play into...
It's not the
Slenderman.
fallacy of unobservability. It's the idea that when an electron, this is the difference between Newtonian physics and quantum physics. Newtonian physics deals with large things, inertia, planets, gravity, stuff like that. Quantum physics deals with the building blocks of what we know of as the universe.
We're talking
And even
fucking
gravity
quarks.
breaks down when you get small. I
We're
mean, a
talking
balloon can stick to the
atoms.
wall rather than the Earth.
Exactly.
That is different, because that is a different force acting upon
Yeah,
it.
but static electricity cannot beat out gravity.
But gravity is a constant, so yes, it can.
It shouldn't.
But it can.
Well, of course it can because it does, but no, based on the laws of physics, no, a balloon should float to the ground because the weight of the
Well,
latex
first of all,
or whatever.
what you're talking about, we're not going to dive into this.
Static electricity isn't
Let's
the
get
great
back
force.
to Slender Man.
What this really comes
Yeah,
down
I'm
to,
excited.
what this comes down to is an electron. If this is an observable, this is fact that when an electron is unobserved, it's a lot more whiskey in that drink.
I remember this.
Straight whiskey, my friends.
Okay, here's a little bit of a simple syrup. Oh, my hands are dirty again.
Don't put sugar in it. That's just going to make it worse.
Do you want bitters?
God bless America. Give me something.
I just gave you something and you complain.
I'm sorry. God.
When an electron is unobserved, it will inhabit every position possible.
Oh,
That's the idea of it.
there is a theory that there is only one electron in the universe, and it is every place and every time.
Here's the problem, though.
Holy shit.
The problem is that makes no fucking sense.
What the fuck are you talking about right now? No
Some
offense.
theory, I read it on
It's-
Yahoo
it's the
News,
ti- it's
so
the-
you know it's true.
It's the time
Credibility.
traveling electron, is what the theory is that this one electron exists in all time, in all places, across space-time.
To be
Something
honest,
like that. I skimmed the article.
I can see it,
Hey, Bubba.
Yeah.
but it's so far-fetched.
Well, once...
But it's
Well,
also
it's just like
not.
people saying that we're living in a simulation. I mean, that's far-fetched. Makes
That's
no
well,
goddamn
okay.
sense.
That's when you get down to the quantum. When you get down to the quantum mechanics
Doesn't
of it.
though?
Does it? No, it doesn't.
I don't know, dude. I'm just
When you get down to the
literally
quantum
gesticulating
mechanics,
saying things.
the math actually supports the matrix simulation theory.
I thought the whole idea of the math in quantum mechanics was that literally what you expect to happen is not at all what happens.
Because once you get down small enough, Newtonian physics does not explain the stuff that happens.
Yeah.
Like with this electron.
Well, that's when he switched to quantum.
Well, it's two laws of physics don't interact with each other.
Yes.
They actually are opposite of each other because what should happen in Newtonian physics doesn't happen over here in quantum
And
physics.
vice versa, but they
Exactly.
should, but they work together. They're like
But
two sides of the same
that's the
sword.
thing is where that middle ground is where all these creepy things happen.
And we haven't found the middle ground yet.
No, it's that's the thing. Getting back to Schrodinger's cat, the idea that the cat
Still
inside the
awesome.
box, when you don't, since you can't observe it, it can be both alive and dead
yeah.
at the same time.
No,
but then,
that's...
well, because
I'm sorry, I'm getting indignant over this. No,
You
go
really
on.
are, but
when you open up the box,
Fucking Big Bang Theory.
when you open up the
fucking
box
understand.
like an electron,
Yeah.
once it's observed, you know the cat
It's
is either
one or the
alive
other.
or dead. The electron, once observed, will pick a position and will stick to that position.
And
The
then
problem-
here comes PETA.
I don't
Here's
know.
the problem with Slender Man is because when you close the lid on that cat and you open it again, if it was dead in the first place, it's alive again.
Yeah.
And then when you close the lid again, you open it up, it had just been somewhere else, and now it has a mouse in its mouth and is smiling at you.
And
That's-
voted Trump. And that's where we lose Newtonian physics.
Exactly. Because it's this
And that's
quantum
where,
level that he could exist on.
Yeah. And that's when things get weird. That's where we reach the point where a balloon can stick to a wall
Jacob,
based
stop
on static electricity.
talking about that. You were just no.
No, dude, I'm right. I
You are
swear
just
I'm right.
so, just
We'll do this in our static electricity episode.
yeah.
We'll talk about
Then
this.
we'll have 0 listeners.
Week 53, everybody. Static electricity.
Guys,
my
I've
words.
read about this.
I read it once. It's true.
Yeah, on toothpaste for dinner.
It was in a fortune cookie, I swear.
All right, so now that we've explained,
Just a fortune cookie says, like, jet fuel can't melt steel beams.
Literally.
Jesus fuck!
Literally.
Gotta throw that away.
Loose
but
changes
jet
bullshit.
fuel can compromise the structural integrity of steel beams.
Oh my god. Are we really getting on?
Because
Shut
there's
the
a
fuck up.
there's the difference between
I just
heat and
had
temperature.
I just had a conversation last weekend about loose change and 9/11,
Okay,
and I just wanted to shoot myself
I don't
in the fucking
believe.
dick.
I don't believe that a space kinetic energy weapon was used to topple both of the towers.
This is
No,
the first
they
time I've
used
ever heard of
airplanes.
that.
Oh,
But that's fantastic.
Oh,
I
Jim,
love
you
the
have not-
creativity of some people.
Matt.
wait till you.
What
sit
was it,
in
like a railgun or something?
Basically, think of it a railgun that shoots lasers from space.
Time out.
Death Star.
Time out. Time
Pretty
out.
much.
Time out. We're gonna do this right. We're gonna hash this out right now because I cannot exist.
Wait,
You're
hold on.
saying people believe
What?
that a railgun was used to take down the World Trade
Yeah,
Centers.
there are.
What
people
is
who believe
our
that.
original podcast? We're talking about Slender Man, right?
Slender Man was arming the railgun. Okay, that's how we're getting away with this right now.
He was on the no, hold on. He was on the recruitment posters with
Yeah,
like
literally.
Moji the Riveter.
Yeah.
We can do it,
Do it.
says this
no,
paranormal
no.
entity.
No.
Yes, I know. I've broken your mind. I'm sorry.
You didn't break it.
I've just expanded your horizons beyond what you knew was possible.
Where was the railgun? Was it in space?
It was in space.
It was in space.
It was in space.
Yeah.
So
It was one of the
United
Mac
States
drivers
has
from
railgun
Halo.
technology, and we're using it to destroy buildings in our own country.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But we're not using it to do
Because
anything
that
else.
would
that
stop
would
our
make
forever
sense.
war.
That would stop our forever war.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm good.
You would have
That's all I
thought
needed.
someone would have seen the Mac driver pile driving the World Trade Center.
Literally all I needed to hear. Just that would stop. Okay.
Okay.
Okay,
Perfect.
well, we are now on FBI watch list.
Sorry. Yeah, literally.
Thanks, Matt.
Holy shit.
You're welcome.
Hey,
Okay.
Joe, if I'm not in work tomorrow, it's because I'm being held in a black site in
Because I'm
Poland.
in
You were black
Guantanamo
bag, yeah.
Bay right now. I'm being detained.
All right, so we've
Holy
gone through the
shit.
science that explains Slender Man.
Yeah. Well, I mean, did we? I think
We
we. I
know.
think, I
We
think
brushed
we.
past
Yeah.
it.
I think we touched on it and then just went off on tangents. But
We
Yes.
walked past it and held up our hands like we were in a bad neighborhood.
we
Exactly.
tried. We tried.
Went
though.
right by
I
the
think we gave it the
science.
good old college try.
So, would you say any of these scientific explanations could actually explain Slenderman in the reality?
of course, if we
Yes,
actually,
because
if
we don't
actually
understand enough
yeah.
about science. We
Okay.
don't understand science. I mean, 99% of our universe is dark matter.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck is that? Maybe
Is that,
that's
We're gonna talk about
science.
that.
is that
on
the
the
same
podcast.
5,000 degrees the sun is internally?
Chip, go to your room.
Are you sure?
Because I probably also
Like,
butchered
come
that.
on. I mean, we don't know. I mean, honestly, like
A large portion of our galaxy is dark matter.
From what
It's
was
true, it's true.
Yeah, that's
Yeah. Maybe not 99%, but close to it.
It's
I mean-
it's 95% of our reality is what we actually see and interact with. The other 95% is dark matter.
I think the only thing that really matters when talking about like Slender Man or anything supernatural for that existence, or for that matter, rather not existence, but is our own reality and how we like view it. I think that's
Yep.
the most important thing. So like we can say
That's
like yeah,
perfect.
science is gonna maybe give us an explanation, but it doesn't fucking matter what science says. It all matters what we see and what we feel and what we believe. So I mean. Sure, scientifically you could say, yeah, he is a fourth dimensional being that can only be observed, and then he can move while he's not being observed. But at the same time, he's just fucking there.
Let's talk about two little girls in Waukesha, Wisconsin, who actually thought Slenderman was real.
Good for them.
Yeah.
Oh, God, not this talk.
Oh yeah. May
Wait,
31st.
are they the ones that got stabbed?
No, the ones who did the stabbing.
Yeah.
Oh!
May 31st.
Good.
2014, two 12-year-old girls in Waukesha, Wisconsin, allegedly held down and stabbed their 12-year-old classmate 19 times.
Can we just take a moment to appreciate that this would only happen in Wisconsin?
I don't know, because it happened in 3 other states afterwards.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But they stabbed a classmate.
Yeah.
Oh.
They premeditated this shit, too.
Huh.
When questioned later by authorities, they reportedly claimed that they wished to commit a murder as a first step to becoming proxies for the Slenderman, having read about it online. They also state that they were afraid that Slenderman would kill their families if they did not commit the murder. The victim was able to crawl from the woods where she had been left to reach a roadside. A passing cyclist intervened, and the victim survived the attack. Both female attackers have been diagnosed with mental illness, but have also been charged as adults and are facing up to 65 years in prison.
Only in Wisconsin would 12-year-olds be charged as adults.
Well,
Jesus fuck.
here's the problem.
First off, is the
Can we
Horror
also
of
take a
mental
moment
illness.
to appreciate how bad they are at stabbing? 19 times?
no, that was
they
actually
also don't
less
have
than
the
I
upper body strength for that deep thrust.
19
thought. You really can't do a lot of damage with stabbing.
No,
Like,
you have to get past the heart.
Unless you're hitting a jugular or
It's
a
another 12-year-old girl. You're stabbing
Unless you're
her.
hitting a vital
She's
organ.
literally probably maybe like...
They were hitting the ribs
5
though.
inches?
That was
Yeah.
the problem. The ribs stop a lot of damage.
I heard about a prison guard who saw an inmate who was stabbed 97 times and survived.
God,
Because
these
you
people
can't
are
kill
nuts.
someone by stabbing unless you're going for like a vital artery.
or you're carving like parts of them out.
But
Yeah.
if what these
Yeah.
girls say was true, like, 19 times? Like, they just
I mean,
think
that's
body
crazy,
shots are
Will.
I mean, they are 12. I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't know what I'm getting at here. I'm
They,
just
they
kind of
were
upset.
they were kind of
The willpower behind it.
I'm
is
just literally
nuts.
mad about the whole thing, and I'm trying to rationalize it.
I'm not even mad. I'm just sad.
Well, no, that's the thing.
And scared.
Is yes, mental illness does factor into this,
But two people, mental illness? No,
And-
they're feeding off each other at that point.
and
No, this is more than 2 people. This is 2 people plus what? 3 other states?
well, there 3 other states.
Well, this is
happened
this
afterwards.
this isolated incident before the other states.
This was the first one that kind of, because there was a girl who stabbed her mother afterwards. There was another person who
Bless you.
tried to stab another family member, and then another girl set
Bless you.
fire in their house. So
I remember that.
Yeah, I mean, it's the reason they're being charged as adults is their premeditation. Mental illness only takes you so far. If you premeditate and actually plan it out, and the fact is that you don't stop at the planning and say that this is wrong.
They're 12, man. They have plenty of time to figure that shit out. Like, yes, it's fucked up. Yes, it's weird, but they're still 12. You can't charge a 12-year-old
Shouldn't be
as
charged
an
an
adult. They
Ah,
have plenty of time
I
to
definitely
help
think
that out. I mean,
definitely think that no matter what, they should not interact
That is
with
6
society.
years
yeah.
of growing as a human
but
that they did not get.
I
Yeah.
definitely believe.
No,
that-
they should
I
not be
definitely
adults.
believe they should not be like in society right now. But I think they still have time
Sure,
to like.
Well, they should be in a
Figure it out.
psychologist office.
Because first of all, like,
it's true.
who didn't do something shitty when they were 12? Who didn't think about, like, punching somebody in the face? That was premeditated.
No, I didn't.
I punched
I
somebody
did
in the
shitty
face when I was
things.
12, and it
When
was premeditated.
I was 12.
Yeah, I wasn't stabbing anybody.
Whoa, hold on,
Like-
dude. I've got a wire for the
There
FBI,
you
so.
go. Well, they also have a recorded podcast, so great.
When I was 12, me and a
Fucking dick.
friend, during the summer, we lived actually across the street from our grade school. And over the summer, the janitor worked by himself just to make sure everything was maintained well and up to snuff for the next year. And he would leave his lunch bag out in the bed of his pickup truck because no one else is around except for me and my friend who lived across the street. So we'd ride our bikes around. One day we got the great
shit.
idea to switch his lunch bag with another bag that we'd filled with the dead squirrel that we found.
You motherfucker!
That's premeditated, right?
Yeah, because
No,
then
it
we
really
ate his
wasn't,
lunch.
Because first of all, you had to find the dead squirrel, and then you had to be like, it wasn't really premeditated.
Wait,
It
did
was
you
just a
find
fucking
a
prank.
dead squirrel or did you kill it yourself?
No, we found the dead squirrel.
Found it.
And then we're like, oh, we should go replace Mr. Skinner's lunch.
Yeah.
No, wait, that's
That's
just as gross!
That's just funny to be.
Where the fuck did you find a dead squirrel?
That's
The
just
road.
funny, man.
Just pure coincidence? Oh, here's the dead squirrel
we
we
saw
were looking
we
for.
saw the dead squirrel, and we're like, oh, we should go replace Mr. Skinner's lunch. And we did. And then we ate his lunch. And ruined his day.
You're a monster.
I was a monster as a 12-year-old. I'm fine now as an adult. I'm not voting for Trump.
We are all on a watch list because of you.
Oh my god, if the stuff that I've Googled hasn't put me on a watch list already, nothing will.
What did we Google to work? Tooth fairy covered in teeth. That's real bad.
Nobody is listening to this. You've already admitted that you are 20 of the 20
That's
views.
fine. That's fine. We're
What
still
minute
doing
are we on?
Yes,
We've
we
been
are.
going for far too long.
Oh, we have
We
not.
have some editing to do.
Oh, come
Now,
on. We're having a good time.
So, do you guys know where Slender Man kind of fits into pop culture? You already said the Weeping Angels, which actually I think came in after Slender Man.
really?
Yeah.
He's the new Doctor Who. Has
The new Doctor Who, I believe, was after...
Which actor?
Oh, God, the guy who hated being Doctor Who.
Adam
he was-
Sandler.
Yes, he was Doctor Who for a good never, but okay.
No, it was the guy who played,
Cuba Gooding
Voldemort?
Jr.
No, not Voldemort. Fuck it, I don't know.
Oh, Ralph Fine.
There you go. But anyway, also the silence from Doctor Who. If you ever saw that, they wore black suits, black ties, white shirts. They had, they're basically aliens. They had really long fingers, big bulbous heads. Their eyes were very tiny and recessed with no mouths.
Okay.
They spoke psychically, but their main attribute was if you looked away from them, you completely forgot about them that instant. and
That's
that was their
that's very cool,
defense. Yeah, and that they came in after Slenderman. Also, if you've played Minecraft, there's an enemy called
The Enderman.
Yep.
Yeah, and he teleports around. He's tall, skinny,
And they stare right at you.
It is terrifying to deal with those creatures.
Yep.
That's why I don't play Minecraft.
Yeah.
Yep.
But then there's also, like we said,
Starbound, represent.
there's tons of web series on YouTube. There's movies. A free
Hollow.
movie. There's
Yeah.
Brood Hollow, which is
Brood
very
Hollow.
Brood Hollow. Definitely has a lot of feeling from a Slender Man in there.
Yeah.
Very creepy.
Very Lovecraftian. Oh yeah. But then
Lovecraft is the shit.
there's a free movie on YouTube called. It used to be just called Slenderman, and it was backed on Kickstarter, but then they had to remove it from YouTube because while this is technically public domain, because Eric Knudsen created it, it was his creation. So he actually sold the rights, and there's
To like a for-profit company, correct?
I don't know if they're for profit, but they do control creative access to this and
So they can copyright the shit out of any Slenderman shit they see?
Well, they usually don't enact it. More along it's the lines of making sure that bad Slenderman stuff doesn't come out.
Okay.
How can you
So, like-
copyright Slenderman?
Well, that's the thing, is Slenderman was Eric Knudsen's creation. So he allowed the rights to move to someone else. But here's what I find most interesting. Nobody knows who owns Slenderman.
I own Slenderman.
I own Slenderman.
I'm Spartacus.
Exactly.
If
Well, like-
no one knows if it's one person or if it's a group of people. It's just they have the rights to put the kibosh on whatever you're doing. So
When
this
thrown on like an internet site.
yeah. So this Slenderman movie, while it did get funding only to make the movie, what had to be taken down. So it was re-released as just X, I think it was. And Jake, I'll send you the link to it so that you can throw it up on Twitter.
Perfect.
And so that people can watch the movie. It's not great, but this is one of those movies where there are chunks of time that are fucking frightening to deal with.
Yeah.
That is a tough movie to watch in the dark, especially like on a laptop, where your
There we
focus,
go.
where
I
your
love it.
focus
Where your
is
focus
like
literally
really,
one's tiny
it's
screen, yeah.
Really
tourniqueted.
condensed.
Oh yeah,
Use that.
oh yeah, and there's also that Marble Hornets movie. What's it
Yeah.
called? Always Watching.
Yep.
I thought,
Scary as fuck.
yeah, it wasn't great.
Reminds
but they
me
did a
of
good job.
Sorry, you go.
Oh no, I was just saying
That was
a-
it, yeah.
Yeah, but you were saying it reminds you of
It reminds me of It Follows.
Mm-hmm.
Just the
The
Dread.
Yep.
yeah. There was another movie I was really excited for called The Entity, and it was based off Slenderman, and it was a guy was going to his dad's house after his dad died to like clean up all of his stuff and kind of collect some memories and stuff.
No, thank you.
Well, and then the more he like cleaned up his dad's house, the more he found like a secret room that had all the Slenderman articles and stories posted up all over it.
Good fucking night.
Yeah.
I'm done.
And then the moment he started interacting with that stuff, the more he started seeing the creature.
Well, that's Slenderman though. He's a dick.
Yeah.
You know?
He really is.
He's like, oh, you believe in me? I'm gonna fuck you up this weekend.
Going
Guess
back,
who you're gonna see in your rearview mirror when you're going home at night driving alone?
going back to In the Mouth of Madness,
Mm-hmm.
there is this awesome moment where they're staying in a hotel in the haunted town,
Mm-hmm.
and the main character looks at the painting,
I'm gonna grab some
and
ice.
it is of a lady with a parasol and her
Mm-hmm.
husband, and after a few weeks, it changes into like someone like half dead, like cut off from the waist, like dragging himself towards the ocean,
Ugh.
and like alligator things pulling him in.
That's terrifying.
Yeah, but it's like one of those like you change your vision and you can see what's
Yeah.
going on.
I need a hug.
So, where do we go from here? Should we be worried? Is he real? Honestly, I don't think we have much to worry about. the science needed to explain this being in reality doesn't fit either Newtonian or quantum physics, and he just cannot exist. But we shouldn't be sad about that. We are present for the first time in modern history of seeing a folk story be created and how it has worked its way into our lives. He is the modern boogeyman, and for the first time we know for sure he exists only on the internet and not under our bed. We should really look at this as a positive thing, since there is a chance, maybe after this current political cycle, that we can hope for a positive idea to start to take root in our minds and move through the internet and move into the real world and start to motivate people for better and not for nightmares. And that's all I've got to say about that.
Kind of agree with you on that, except for that underhanded political comment you threw in there.
I'm just really hoping that the world doesn't end after November.
Oh,
I'm not sure.
It's okay.
Honestly,
Trump supporters are voting on November 28th, so...
You know what? The third debates tomorrow, I'm excited. I'm going to watch. Hope you guys can watch too.
I'm not going to watch, man. I can't handle it. I watched the first two, and I wanted to stab a donkey dick. Like, I don't even know what that means.
I needed a hug.
I don't know what that means either.
Yeah.
All I know is that I might disagree. The universe is big and vast and horrifying enough that I think we can fit in a few more monsters.
You know what?
And if they want to just show up at the speed of light and be disguised as a cloud of gas until the last second, or if they are just a cloud of poisonous gas, then when they reach the country, they make us feel like zombies.
Yeah, it's possible. Honestly, the thing about our reality is we know so little about it, other than what we can actually physically observe. Yeah.
Yep.
And the fact that, like you said, Jake, dark matter consists of 95% of our reality, and we can't perceive dark matter.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's terrifying. What exists in there that we don't know?
It's funny.
Azathoth.
What's right here next to me that doesn't exist right here?
Yeah.
Your mom.
I don't
see. But no, man. I don't know. I like the idea of Slender Man existing throughout time, especially him wearing a powder wig in the colonial era. To be
Just
honest,
a powdered dandy.
yeah, just a dandy back there.
kind of skipping through town.
I do like that. I do like that idea, but I feel like if he was to really exist throughout history and actually did have a pivotal point in our existence, he would be around. But I think he always was around, but there was no documentation for it until the photograph. And
Yeah.
you would expect maybe then, okay, when the photograph actually became a thing, he'd be there. But he might be a little craftier than that, man.
Yeah.
I do like that you can actually pinpoint the actual existence of his mythos.
Creation, yeah.
Yeah, you could actually pinpoint it to this photoshopping experience, and I think just because he was photoshopped doesn't make him any less of a threat than any other supernatural thing out there.
Dang.
I like the idea that he's not photoshopped, that he is a figment of our imagination and takes on what we want to see.
Yeah.
And at the last second kind of becomes himself.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. But I mean, I just think
So maybe he's ancient. Maybe older than time.
He could be older than time. Dude, he could be Father Time, just loving those little kids. I don't know. But I mean,
Or you have to call the feds now?
no.
Yeah.
That comment was not even.
Nope, that was time 3. Sorry, we're on the watch list.
Not even close to meaning anything, but okay. But no, I mean, but seriously, coming back to it, I do agree with that. Was it Lovestone?
Lovecraft.
Lovecraft.
No, not Lovecraft. The idea that the energy you put into something.
Oh, the tulpa.
The tulpa, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Lenny Riefenstahl.
but I actually think the tulpa idea actually plays effect with him now.
No, that plays a huge
And I also
fact.
think it also a lot of internet trolls out there really like fucking with people.
That tulpa is like the main thing that keeps him alive, I feel.
Yeah.
The idea that if you don't believe in him, he doesn't exist, but if you do, he does.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
And that's why if you believe in him, he's gonna just end up in your windshield.
Yeah.
Yep. Which is why it
End up in your
happens.
rear view mirror. And you're like, fuck me.
I think that kind of covers it. I think we did a pretty good job. And why don't you follow us at Let's Make It Weird Pod on Twitter. You can reach us at Let's Make It Weird at gmail.com. And where else? We're not on Tumblr yet, are we?
No.
No.
Maybe he still haven't gone on that.
But for real, tell your friends about us. All 3 of us in this room.
Yeah.
Tell your friends about us.
Assuming you have friends.
This is-
Ooh, sick bird.
No, that's just... I don't have friends.
Oh, come on. What is that? Who am I? But,
A tulpa.
Shut up, Jim.
You're a tulpa.
for real, if this podcast manages to hear a pair of ears that are not one of the 3 people sitting in this room,
A pair of beers.
ears,
Make
sure you drink Maker's Mark Old Fashions.
We're
Why
not
you
sponsored by
drink this?
Maker's Mark. We have to say that right now.
I can say that. I can say drink a Maker's Mark.
That's true, but we also have to say that we're not sponsored because we've tried and they told us not to do it.
We
Who
drank an
told
entire
you
bottle.
not to do it?
Makers.
Really?
Let's not talk about it.
They're literally like...
There's litigation.
They're literally like...
It's from episode 1.
No publicity is bad publicity. They're like, nobody listens to your podcast, guys.
Yeah,
Seriously?
There was
Anyway,
one guy, he's like, your podcast sucks. Get the fuck out of our way.
That's not cool, man. But yeah, no.
Shoutouts.
Follow me on Twitter. I don't have one.
okay.
Halloween party. If you're in the Itasca greater area.
Hit us up
Send
on
a
Twitter.
message.
Yeah, we'll let us know and we'll let you know what's going
Yeah,
on.
we'll let you know where the Halloween party's at.
Yeah. Jake, anything for you?
Yeah, let me think. Hi, Ricky. Hi, Anna. Hi, Charles. Hi, Hillary. Hi, Nicole Reimers. Hi, Nicole Craigie. Hi, Brian Fitzgerald. Hi, Oscar Garcia. Hi, Dave Sable. Hi, Van Kozel.
Are these literally just...
Hi, Eileen.
Hi, Eileen. No, I said
Eileen?
that before you know. Hi, Eileen.
This is literally every employee.
Hi, Paul
in your
Ramirez.
office right now.
Hi, Joe. Maybe you're not listening to this. You got better things to do.
Wow. Hi, all employees at the company. Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
work there.
Do you guys hear that?
That's your dogs upstairs.
I think it's a bass drop.
Did you want us to drop the
Shut the fuck up. No, that's the song.
Yeah.